Hello and welcome to HTML tutorials. In these tutorials, we are going to learn HTML from scratch to the elite level. This tutorial is designed for the aspiring web designers and developers with a need to understand the HTML in enough detail along with its simple overview and practical examples. This tutorial will give you enough ingredients to start with HTML from where you can take yourself at a higher level of expertise. So let's get started. Let's talk about the history of HTML. What is HTML? Actually, HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. HTML was invented by Tim Berners-Lee in 1989. And this is the extended form of SGML that stands for Standard Generalized Markup Language. And HTML is open format. That means you don't need to pay for it. You don't need to buy the services. You can use the HTML services for free. Okay, let us know more about HTML. By the help of HTML, we make structure of a web pages using markup. And this HTML is associated with elements. Those acts like a building blocks for the web page. And these elements are represented by tags. What are these tags? We are going to learn about tags in our next session, and I'll explain you in detail in that session. And when the browser renders the HTML file, it will not display the HTML tags. The browser only displays the content from the HTML file, but not the tags that we use to make a HTML file. You will understand that when you write the code and when you display it from the web browser. So what are the prerequisites to learn HTML? The first one is any operating system. That means you should have any operating system in your computer or laptop. That means you should have some basic knowledge to operate the operating system. It might be Mac or Windows or Linux, anything. You should know how to use it. I mean, you should have some basic knowledge to explore an operating system. We hope that you already know it. And we need a text editor. Why do we need a text editor? That text editor will help you to write your HTML code, because we are going to write HTML code in a text editor and then we'll execute it, and browser will render the text editor and gives you the HTML, I mean a web output. So you can download your favorite text editor from the internet, and most of these text editors are free to download. You don't need to pay for it. Of course, there are some text editors that you can buy them, but it's not essential to buy one. In my case, I'm going to use Notepad++ as my text editor, and you can choose your favorite text editor based on your comfort and criteria. And you should know how to dealing with files, folders, and different image formats. When you're working with an operating system, most of you know how to make, like how to save files and how to make folders. And I guess most of you guys know about in different image formats like .jpeg or .png. Knowing about the image extensions like PNG and JPEG is very essential, because we are going to write the image name with an extension in our HTML code. And let us have a look at the typical structure of a HTML document. Basically, any kind of a HTML document is built up with the three different containers. One is HTML here, and we start the HTML here and we end the HTML with the slash HTML tag. These are called as tags. It's a HTML opening tag and HTML closing tag, and this is a container. And in that container we have two different kinds of container. One is a head and the other one is body. Okay, head, we open the head container with the head tag and we closed it here, and we are going to write all the header related tags in the head container. The other container is a body, and we open the body here and we close the body container with a slash body tag, and we are going to write all the body related tags within this body container. Okay, let's try to write our first HTML code. So the target is to print hello world. So let's do it. So this is my text editor, Notepad++. I'm going to write my code here. That is, to open any HTML, we are going to start like this, HTML, and we close this container, HTML, we close it. Okay, and then as I told you before, we have two more containers in it, head, we are closing head here, and then body, and we are closing body here. And in the body, we are going to write the content. How do you write this? So let us make a heading saying that hello world. So to make the heading, let's make heading 1, that is the biggest heading, that means the boldest heading in HTML, that is H1. We closed it. I mean, we need to close it, slash H1. Here we're going to write our heading, and this content is gonna display in the web browser. Let us say hello world. And when you're using HTML, when you're writing a code, you don't need to worry about the white spaces. You can make as many white spaces as you can. It's not about, these white spaces are not going to be displayed in the browser. So let us save it. Save as. Let's say this is our first exercise dot. So we need to give an extension to this file because browser need to identify this as a web file. So if you don't give the extension, browser will never know that it is an HTML file. So let us give an extension HTML. It's an essential thing. You should mention the HTML. Let us save this on my desktop. Okay. Now the next part is we are going to run this in the web browser. To run this, run in Chrome. I'm using Google Chrome as my web browser here. And see, hello world. This is how we write the code. This is our first code. You can check the code written from the browser also. To do that, you right click in the browser, you just go and touch button view page source. When you press it, you can see that HTML head and body. In body we have a H1 heading 1, hello world, and body closed and HTML closed. This is what we wrote. You can directly check the code from the browser output. Let us move on to the next topic, HTML tags. HTML tags are used to format the content in the web page, in the code. As I told earlier, HTML is a markup language and makes use of various tags to format the content. These tags are enclosed with the braces. That was like, to say it simply, is a greater than less than symbol surrounded by the tag name. Except few tags, most of the tags have their corresponding closing tags. This is an opening tag and this is a closing tag. We close the tag with a slash at the beginning of the tag name. Let's talk about some basic tags. Those are very essential in HTML. The first one is a heading tags. Like, we have 6 different kinds of headings in HTML. That is H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, and H6. H1 is the biggest heading and H6 is the smallest, but still it is heading. So H2 is bit smaller than H1, H3 is bit smaller than H2, like that. H6 heading is the smallest heading, and we're going to see how it's going to work. Let's try an example. Here you can see we have a code for all the 6 headings, H1 and heading 1, H2 is heading 2, H3 is heading 3, H4, head 5, H6, and we are opening H1 here and we are closing the H1. The heading, it's an opening H1 tag and it's a closing H1 tag. So we use slash to close the tag, and we did the same with all these tags. And let us save this and let us see how it displays. Launch in Chrome, and you can see the heading 1 is the biggest one, the heading 6 is the smallest one. So this is how we deal with the heading tag. So the next tag is a paragraph tag. Let us try the paragraph tag. To write the paragraph, the process is same. The tag is P. So we open the P tag, and let us, like, why don't you always make a habit to close the tag immediately, so it is easy for you, so you will never forget to close the tag. That will help you to avoid the unnecessary errors. Let us close it now immediately, and we closed it, and we need to write the content here for the paragraph. I'm using some dummy text. Okay, yes, so this is our paragraph and I'm using some dummy text. It means nothing, and I saved it. Let us run this in Chrome. So this is the paragraph tag, and the next tag is line break tag. As I told you before, HTML code will not consider the white spaces, so it doesn't matter. Like, let us say I do like this. If I make spaces like this, so if I save it and when I run it, it will not make any difference because HTML never cares the white spaces. So we need to use a tag to get some line break here. But in our code, we gave some line breaks by just pressing enter, but it will not display. To get the line break, we are going to use a tag called PR and slash. So this will give you the line break. Let us save this and run it. Launch in Chrome. Yeah, you can see we got a line break. To get the line break, we use a BR tag. It's a self-closing tag, so you don't see any like opening BR and closing BR here. You straight away put this tag wherever you want the line break. And the next tag is centering content, the center tag. Let's try this too. We actually use this center tag to put the particular content of a particular piece of content in the center of the browser. So let us put this piece of content in the center of the browser. To do that, what we're going to do is we use a center tag. Center, opening, and we'll close it here. Sorry, yes, center, close. So save this and run launch in Chrome. And you can see this particular piece of text is moved to the center of the browser window. And we use the HR tag to create a horizontal line. Okay, let us put a horizontal line here. HR, and that's it. You don't need to close it. You don't need to use any slash with this tag. You just save this tag and run it to see the output. You see a horizontal line dividing the second line and third line here because we put the HR tag here. Well, let us put one more horizontal line here, HR, and save it, run it again, and you can see two horizontal lines. And the next tag is non-breaking spaces. This tag is very important. It's NBSP. Let us see how it's gonna work. This tag is to make space. A small correction, there should not be braces to this particular tag. There are no braces surrounded to this NNBPS. I wrote it by mistake. So we are going to use that NBSP tag here to make some extra spaces between the content. So let us do it. Okay, this will make one extra space. Why don't we make any? Like, save it and run it, and then you can see some white spaces here. I used this tag for 5 times, so it got 5 white spaces. We'll use more times, 5 more times, save it, and you can see some extra spaces here. To create some white spaces in our output, we use this tag called NBSP : So these are the very basic tags that we use very often when we are dealing with HTML coding. And thank you very much for today. I hope you enjoyed the session, and meet you in the next session. Until then, bye bye.